Liz, meet your protection.
Daniel Posner, head of legal.
Liz Sloane, contemptible liability.
Well, talk about timing. I don't know if it's good or bad depending on the mood you're in, but following a blistering election season, we now have a political thriller to end all political thrillers, Miss Sloane, which is a crackerjack movie about the lobbying industry, essentially, in Washington, D.C., but it's really about one lobbyist. That would be Miss Sloane, played here sensationally by Jessica Chastain, one of her best outings ever, and perhaps the best role she's had to date in movies. She really carries this thing, and what a character it is.
All right, everyone, I called you here to announce that effective immediately, I am leaving Cole Kravitz and starting work as lead consultant for the Brady campaign at Peterson Wyatt.
It's not always sympathetic. She plays a Washington, D.C. lobbyist. Her firm has a pro-gun lobby that comes to them trying to defeat a gun control bill that is up for passage. And she objects to this, which is odd because she is a hard-boiled lobbyist that basically takes on the cause for the check and for the thrill of the win. But something changes this time. And she decides to switch firms and switch sides, go to the opposite side here, using all the information that she has from her original firm. This opens the door for all kinds of twists and turns in this movie that never stops. Becomes somewhat melodramatic at times, but this is what they call a real potboiler, a real political potboiler, with a hot button subject of gun control at its center. But this is not about gun control per se. It is about lobbyists. And I haven't seen many movies about lobbyists. The one I can think of was Thank You for Smoking with Aaron Eckhart, which is about the cigarette industry. This one really gives you insight, and it's so interesting that at its center is a female who could just as easily have been a male role here, and we would have looked at this movie probably very differently. But the writer here, Jonathan Perera, who was a teacher in South Korea, who wrote this script on speculation, and its director, John Madden, who did, among other things, the Oscar-winning Shakespeare in Love, have taken this material and really crafted a great showcase for Jessica Chastain, who simply has never been better in this role. And you will really follow her along, even though she isn't completely likable all throughout this.
You want to lead the fight on gun control.
There's over 5 million of us, and we're armed.
Start an inquisition.
It will have you on the edge of your seat, I guarantee you. Unless you're completely sick of the political world in Washington, D.C., then maybe the timing isn't so great for this. But I think this is something that people will be talking about long after they leave the theater, partly due to the great performances, not just from Chastain, but a terrific supporting cast, including the always reliable John Lithgow, who plays the senator running the hearings actually against Miss Sloane. Gugu Mbatha-Raw is an associate of hers that is very fine. She has some key scenes, but I don't want to say too much about her role. And then there's Jake Lacy, who plays a male escort slash prostitute, shall we say, who has a few trysts with Miss Sloane in a hotel room. And this really says something about the personal life she really doesn't have. And it's interesting to see it from the point of view of a woman going to someone like this. We don't often see this portrayed in movies this way, and it is very fresh and a very fresh take on it. And I gotta tell you, John Madden has directed this thing like a freight train, a speeding train. I think you'll be immersed in it and engrossed the entire time, and I highly recommend Miss Sloane, particularly for one of the year's best performances by Jessica Chastain. I say, go.